Yeah, we gotta get started. So I found out 2 days ago because more people are joining Ancestry.com. So
Right?
they're hooking up to my tree. So people are starting to hook up to my tree. And I said, James, your tree has been updated. Okay. And so I'm not looking for any more relatives. They're all messy. So I'm not looking for any more relatives. But it said I had bad experiences. They said, but and your actual ancestry has been updated also. But it has? So last count, I was at 47% white,
Wow.
Okay.
which is just crazy talk. So I go on there and we're adding up. My sister and I are adding up this, we're adding stuff up. And I'm like, sis, I'm bad at math. She goes, me too. I go, yeah, I remember. But I need somebody who's good at math to make sure they can check this out because I think I'm over 50% white. And we start adding it up. So the big thing I have is Scottish.
Really?
I don't see that on you.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I don't. It's just like because it's literally it's the markers. That's what they're counting for your parents, for your father. You can break it down to now, where it's your father's side, your mother's side, what you grab, and apparently Scottish it was like 15%.
Wow.
It was the third thing under the top two are African. So like one's Nigerian, one's Cameroon. So like that makes sense. And then you go, there's like Scottish.
Yeah.
It was French, of course. It was like 10% because I'm Creole, so I knew French was gonna be in there somewhere. But then it was like Wales, England, like I'm like really all that British Isles. Irish, I have like 7% Irish. I was like weird. And then the area I thought I would have the most, which is because we're Dutch, and I thought it was all Dutch, the Western Europe, Germanic and Western Europe, was still as big, it was 10%. But it was kind of like it wasn't as big as the Scottish. Well, interesting. And then so we're adding up all the whites. That sounds weird. Adding up all the white side. And all the white folks. And then I have like Southern Philippines.
Oh, that's interesting.
2% Southern Philippines. Where'd that come from? And
that's where your gorgeous skin comes from.
Crazy. Probably right. I'm surprised. But then I saw, okay, now my family actually is my mother's side, my mother's father's side, or one of those sides, they actually come from Indian land. They were born on a reservation in Oklahoma. I have pictures. They're in full dress. I only got 1% indigenous Americans. So we start adding it up. I'm at 55% white.
Wow. I wanna go ahead and do that myself and do that test. I wonder
what.
Yeah.
We could be curious. No, because like for you, like I know some folks who are from Mexico. You see how much indigenous you have in you, how much Spanish you have from Spain. It's very, and then you get Africa, and you also you used to be surprised what's in there, what's mixed in there. Be surprised. I kind of want to do the 23andMe now, just to kind of see what they say, because it also breaks it down for you like that too.
Oh, okay.
They're both similar, but a little different. I heard. So I'm like, but Ancestry, because people are starting to hook into it, is going to be the most accurate because you're getting their DNA too, and who matches with you. So it's a trip. So I'm white.
I can see that.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you going to start checking the box?
I want my white privilege now. That's what I want. That's what I want. My white male privilege. No, I don't know. It's fast. Genetics are fascinating. You know, I just got pictures of my grandkids, and they're blonde hair, blue eyed. So I mean, it's who knows? And there's no blonde. My daughters aren't blonde. I mean, their husbands aren't blonde. Like, we don't know where that came from either. I mean, it's just genetics are the craziest thing. You know, Cesar's daughter looks just like him, looks like you, and your grandson looks like you too, Cesar. They both look like you. You're muted. Come on.
Sorry, I did. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm trying to play for this.
What's going on with you? Yes.
I don't. Say that again.
I was saying that your daughter and your grandson look like you.
Actually, you know what? It's funny because I just saw a picture. So yeah, they do. Number one, number two, I saw a picture of my grandson, and I was probably, I want to say maybe about 7 or so, 7, 8, give and take. And then I see a picture of him now or around the same age. We look identically the same. Like we look like twins. You know, which is kind of cool.
I know you look at great. His grandson's you think my grandson Zayden has a great name? You know what's your grandson's name?
Kovacs.
I like it.
I'm sorry, what?
Kovacs, Kovax.
Wow.
Like dating.
That is a very unique name.
Yeah, it is. My daughter was trying to find something very unique, and there's I don't think I've been able to search for. I searched for that name, and you don't really find too many. You
No.
find them as Kovac instead of an X at the end with the
See?
Kovac, C, I think. Yeah.
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 I was like, Zayden and Kovacs can go fight crime.
Yeah, no, right.
Exactly.
My fight names. My grandson, your grandson can fight crime together.
I mean, I was trying very hard for my daughter to name him Cesar, but it didn't go too well, obviously. So.
Oh, I tried James the Third. I tried that, or Harrison. They didn't go for that either. Well, the last.
I love the name Harrison. Well, I love that name for a first name.
And I thought, and at first it was going to be the youngest one was going to be Harrison Jackson. And that's very long. Now he's Rylan Tyler, but I was like that. But I thought Harrison, I would have loved to have somebody named Harrison.
I love the name Harrison.
Yeah, I don't doubt. And then my brother said if he had a kid, he was going to name it Harrison James, like the opposite.
Oh. James, if you would have had a son, would you have called him James Lott Jr.?
He's not Junior.
James Lott Jr.
Well, here's just so because that's actually a very unique question that I've gotten a lot of times because I at first I didn't like being a junior because I have my own name.
You don't look like a junior. You're big. You should have been James like big.
But I've grown into my James Lott Jr.-ness. So yes, I'm a star now. I'm a star. And that's why I grow big hair, make myself bigger star. But no, but I was like, when I said, because I wanted a son, obviously, I would love to have a son. I thought, but would I want to do that to them? But I also kind of like that whole thing of like,
sorry,
the legacy, keep it going. Oh, what happened?
My phone rang. Sorry, I forgot to.
I didn't even hear it. Oh, wow,
I didn't hear it either.
Didn't hear it.
Nope.
Like, okay. Is it business? Your answer is a dog?
No, it's my sister.
Oh, just say hi, sis. Hi, Melanie. That's it. We can get back on the show too. But no, I just I thought about that. I was like, would I want a James Lott Jr. It would be James Lott the Third. It would be James Harrison Lott the Third. It would be, and I was like, I kind of like that whole lineage thing, kind of going. But I thought that if he has a kid, he may not do the fourth. I have no guarantee he'll do the fourth or whatever. No guarantee. So I don't know. There's other names I liked. I like Alexander. There's a name I always liked. So I thought maybe giving him my middle name would be Alexander Harrison. That's what I always thought. Plus the mother, or the mother wants too. Depends on what they want too. But the other names I was going to be named was after my grandfathers. Our families a lot of times we get named after. And my grandfather was Sylvester. My other grandfather was Satchel. So I could be Satchel Lott or Sylvester Lott. Or my mother's side, they're Roberto. So it's and they're all Robertos. Yeah, but they all have different middle names. So
interesting. So were they called by their middle names?
No, that's what's so funny. They were all called different versions of Roberts or Bobby or Roberto.
Right.
Except for my uncle Reggie, who's crazy. He goes by Reggie. He was Robert. So I guess by his middle name, because he was Robert Reginald. Where the other one was Roberto this, and it was called Robert Roberto. The other one was called Rob. Like they're all called different versions of that name. But Cesar, which is funny because there's several ways to spell Cesar.
I mean, I think
Palace and the way you
right.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, are there?
There are. There's two. Caesar, one has the EA. It's EA.
Right.
SAR.
Yeah, and then the other one's like the way it's spelled CESAR. Yeah.
And there's another Espino. There's another Cesar Espino.
Yeah. So there's actually one time I was googling my name a while back. And so there's a Cesar Espino, the way it's spelled, down in San Diego. So now if you want to Google me or find me, that's why I put my middle initial, Cesar R. Espino, to be able to differentiate. And so I kind of build my branding based on that because I don't want people to get that confused. Plus, I always tell my middle initial is Roman, or like Roman. So I said, I am definitely from, the Roman Empire, Caesar Palace.
Roman. Well, it's funny because there's an actor on Ghosts. I love that show on ABC. He is indigenous, and he goes by Roman. Everybody thinks it's Roman. His name was Roman Zaragoza. Very Latino, right? But he's an indigenous person, obviously. So, but he said it's Roman. So it's funny you say the same thing. It's funny that you said the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
And then we got Melissa.
Yeah. So I'm an identical twin, Cesar.
Oh,
and
are
my
you?
mom
Okay.
gifted, my mom gifted my sister and I with the same first name initial. So it's Melanie and Melissa.
Okay.
So all through high school, we were the M&M twins.
M&M. Yeah.
So it's like great.
But your middle names are very different, right? Or are they similar?
Yeah, my middle name is Ann and Melanie's is Lynn. So Melanie Lynn and Melissa Ann.
Still matches.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So says you.
Yeah.
I'm
She's
just
on the show.
All right.
You have to watch the show, Cesar. She's been on the show.
Yeah, you're like, you didn't have to go through all of that myself, Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was, it's kind of nice to think about going through life with somebody who truly is your peer.
Right.
We were born 1 minute apart.
Wow.
So yeah, so it is kind of cool to have somebody literally with you the whole way through.
Right. Who's older, you or her?
Okay. So you just touched on something. I'll tell you. So my mom had to have an emergency C-section because Melanie and I, and this will give you a hint to our personalities, we were fighting to get out. So,
you're like, no, me next. Me first. No, me first.
That's right. The doctor says, look, one of them isn't going to make it unless we go C-section. So my sister was technically born first. And then I came second. However, as I pointed out at like a very tender age of 17, technically I think I'm the oldest because they pulled Melanie first, which means I was ready to go and she was holding my feet.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, I see that. Yes.
Yeah. So it's been like an ongoing joke in the family. And as we age, we're, our tender age right now, James.
Yes.
Yes. It's not so great being the older one. So I get to tease her a little bit, being,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Melissa and I are the same age.
Yes, we are the same age. Yes, Cesar, my sister is older by 1 minute.
Got you. So she was natural and then you were C-section? Or
no, we were both C-section.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, okay. So they had to pull her first.
I don't know how it's working, but I'm like, all right.
I'm sorry.
I don't know how that works. He's like, how.
Yeah, but now that I think about it, I think that makes sense. I'm like, yeah, you could have a natural birth and then let me prepare for C-section. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Kind of weird.
No. So yeah, we fight. We have fought all of our life. We have a very unique relationship, and we're like very close. Right. So there's this strange dynamic that we can fight and then be close at the same time. So,
but my brother and I who live here, we have that too. Kind of, it's this weird. He bugs the shit out of me every day, just about. And I live with him, and I want to punch him in the face all the time. I do, because we're very different. But then there's some things we are the same. Like recently, we came together. It's like when we came together. He gets my nerves. He gets my nerves all the time. But he came. We're 3 years apart. He just turned 50, so he's feeling the 50. I'm 50 years old. I'm like whatever. But we had this homeless encampment at our garage, and like she knows, I live on an alley. I live on 2 alleys, so it was back here. And we're like, no, you can't do that. And they set up real nice. They did a good job. They stole stuff from the metro and made they had a steel thing. I mean, they built this whole thing against our garage. And we were coming driving up, and they were like kicking my fence. Like, what's going on here? So I called police. So, like I'm saying, if they tried to cook something or whatever, I've had broken. Just tinderbox, whatever. So I called the police. They came and got them that night. But the next day, the encampment was still there. So my brother, we tried to call 311 or 211 or anything. Just getting nobody. So my brother, I got some gloves on, and broke down the encampment and got rid of it. So that was like one of the few times we came together, and it's like, I said, a lot of brothers are in town. We didn't care about anything was going on. We came together because we both felt the same way. It's like, that will happen sometimes where we'll think, or like we'll take the shower at the same time. I can hear his shower come on. He's like, my mind comes on, or like his face. Like it's weird, right? It's like, it's just like, but most other times I'm just like, oh, he gets my nerves. Oh my god, all the time. He doesn't wash a dish. He doesn't vacuum. It doesn't, gets my nerves. But there's times when we just you come. That's the sibling thing, right? I mean, Cesar, you have a sibling or two, or have you a sibling or one sibling?
Yeah, I have two, but yeah, I mean, it's been a while that we haven't. I mean, I have an older brother and I have a younger brother, and I would say, I mean, it's been quite a years that we haven't lived together. So,
But
yeah,
dealing with them, do you ever see that? Like when you get together, what is it like when you guys get together?
it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, it's like haven't seen them for a while, so it's good to kind of reconnect and kind of have that family time per se. So we get along pretty good, yeah, from that perspective.
That's good.
Yeah.
They don't fight, Melissa. We do. Our families fight. You don't
Oh
fight.
yeah, we fight.
We fight too. Like, apparently Caesar's family's fine. They're all fine. Great, Caesar.
Yes.
Thanks for coming, Caesar. We'll see you next time.
Right.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, no.
Probably because you guys don't see each other that much. That's probably why you guys get along. Who knows?
Yeah, you know what? So we had pretty good. So my older brother's been we've been apart for quite some time because actually when we came to the States, so he's 2.5 years older than I, and when we came to the States after 2 years being here, he got a scholarship to go to one of the top high schools in the U.S. So he ended up leaving, and so since then we've kind of been separated, right? I mean, we've made in contact. There's a little bit of I guess a little bit of a grudge. And Melissa, you have to know like my whole story. It'll take 3 hours to go over that. But anyway, there's a little bit of a grudge there.
Just kidding.
There's a little bit of a grudge there because obviously I grew up with my older brother. So quick backstory. I mean, I grew up with just my older brother, my grandmother when I was in Mexico because my mom came to the States to kind of give us a better life, and so it was always the three of us. And I felt like an abandonment kind of aspect when I came to the States, being here only 2 years, and besides not only being here only 2 years, I didn't know anybody. I couldn't speak the language, so I felt out of place. And even though I was with my parents or my mom, I never met my biological father. I was with my mom. It still felt a little bit strange, right? My grandmother went back to Mexico, so it was just me and my brother. And the first 2 years it was good. And then when I found out that he was leaving, I felt like, okay, now you too, now you're leaving me too, kind of thing. So, anyways, that there's been times that I will go and visit him, and what is that the very special magic drink called beer or liquor, and everything comes out. and so,
I know it well, Cesar.
Yeah, exactly. And so sometimes those emotions come out to, I think the last time that came out was like maybe 3-4 years ago, where like I kind of going back to the past because that stays there. But beyond that, we're pretty good. He lives in Oklahoma. He's been there for I don't know how many years now. And then my younger brother, well, we have a pretty big gap in between. We're about 9 years apart, give and take, right?
That is a big gap.
So yeah. And growing up, when I met my younger brother, he was already one, because that's when I met him when I came to the States. And so we didn't really have a lot of things in common, right? So although we grew up together and I would say we had a pretty good life from that perspective as brothers, there was always that, we didn't grow up together, right? So we grew apart very fast because when I was 15, the girl that I was dating at that time, we got pregnant. And so I had my daughter at the age of 16. So, that took me to a whole journey. And, my little brother was my little brother. He was more like my daughter's older brother versus the uncle kind of thing, right? But yeah, I mean, I get on with them too. I mean, he lives in not too far from here, Bellflower, like 45 minutes from here, 40 minutes from here. We did have a little bit of a disagreement early on this year with my younger brother, and we haven't been talking too well, thanks to COVID. So COVID, thank you. Anyways,
silver linings, right, Cesar?
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, it's all good though. Yeah. So I mean, I get along with them a lot.
But they have problems too. So great. I feel better.
Yeah, there we go.
We can move on now. They have problems too. Just kidding.
Awesome. I'm back in the game.
Back in the game. I was like, now they have problems too. They're not perfect. Okay, thank God. No, but it's funny because my sister, I have a huge family. So one of my younger sisters, Allison, had a birthday, and she was online, and we don't really talk. I've been a bad brother, a bad uncle, everything to her kid. I'm bad. I'm horrible. I'm not that good because we're just not that close, and we're 15 years age difference, and so it's just a big difference. And so, but she was online live celebrating her birthday. I happened to pop in, I was trying to be nosy. She's like, my brother's on here. My big brother's on there. Hi. I'm like, oh. I went, happy birthday, sis. You know, my business. But I have siblings I don't even talk to. I have siblings I do talk to. I mean, it's just I have too many, so I can't even go with all of them.
How many siblings do you have, James?
I'm one of 10.
One of 10
that I know of. Yes.
Well, if you want ancestry, you might find it.
Exactly.
I was about to say that exactly right now. I was about to say that. So,
well, I found my mother's half sibling she never knew she had last year. That's the one thing that happened.
That's right.
That was a crazy thing. But no, I'm one of 10. I'm one of the middle children, and my father's married 6 times, so that's why we have all this stuff going on. But there's some I talk to, some I don't. Yeah, I'm just saying there's various reasons, and some is just there's no animosity at all. It's just that we are just such. I have siblings 20 years or 30 years younger than me that I just don't. We don't talk, and I would say if they want to reach out, I'm here. I'm always like I'm here if they want to reach out. But we're such like I said, they're like my grandchildren's age or like my kids. I'm just like we're too spread out, and not the same mothers, so it's a little different too with that also. We have the same father, but different mothers, so it's a little different there too. But I see pictures of them, and I see them online. I see things here, and they're like, oh, that's what they are. But there's a whole bunch of us. But I was just saying, I was talking to Flo this morning. I'm one of the middle children, and explains everything about me. I felt neglected. I felt like this neglected, ignored person most of the time. Plus, that time period, we're all latchkey kids or whatever. That time period, our parents were working, and we were left at home, and so I felt that already, and then having older siblings who were in charge and younger siblings who got all the attention. I'm like me, and that's why I'm in entertainment. me.
It's so funny you say that, James, because my paternal grandmother, and I have this very vivid memory. We were in the front yard, and I think it was it's a strange dynamic, but one of our cousins was playing with my sister, I think swinging her around or something in the front yard. And they're going, me too, me too. And my grandmother heard that from inside the house and forever dubbed me the Me Too twin because I was always, me too.
That's how I felt all the time. Me.
But we have those interesting threads where we've experienced very different but similar, right? Where we can always come back and go, oh my God, I did that too, or I felt like that too.
Well, it's funny. I watched a TikTok of all things.
TikTok, yes.
TikTok. I watched a TikTok where this guy describes that why siblings can be in the same house and grow up differently, turn out differently.
Yeah.
And they tell you that your parents aren't the same with you as they are with your siblings. Like your parents are different with every sibling. So you may have grew up in the same house, and we had some of the same general rules, but your parents did react to you a little differently than your sister, or like you said, for you see, you guys were together. Your brother was with your grandmother. I mean, it's just one of those weird things where it's you could grow up and be 2 different people from the same household. And I thought that was fascinating. That I guess,
I mean, I think that has a lot to do with the difference between the ages between the siblings, right? Because if you're the first kid, there are probably a lot of trial and error, and then they kind of learn that, and then they go to the second one, and then the third one, they forget about the second one because they're focused on the first one and the last one. So, sorry, that's how I felt. But anyways,
what Cesar was that you and I both had kids young.
Yeah.
So I tell people all the time. I had one young, the other one I got a little later. But that's another story. Everybody knows. But I mean, we were young. I felt like we were just doing it. We were in it. Like there was no handbook. Just we're doing it. And then when I did gain a second daughter, it was very interesting because you're like, oh, now I got to divide my time. I got to now figure this out. And then by the time I got grandkids, then I had because it was one, and then 5 years later, the other 2 came back to back. I had 3 grandchildren who each wanted my attention differently. plus my daughters. So I've always felt like I've had 5 kids. And then I got another grandson and one on the way. So I have 6 kids and one on the way. I feel like all the time because they all want my attention. And the last couple of visits, I will say, I remember to my mom, the last 2 visits, I actually felt I gave everyone equal attention. I've never felt that my entire 53 years of my life. I felt finally I found a way to give each of the grandkids their attention, each of the daughters their attention, even their men. I literally, I got to add them on there too. And it was like really funny to see that I got a chance to do that. Like I walked away feeling like I accomplished something. I actually gave each of the children their attention, each of the grandchildren their attention. I felt almost kind of complete. It was really weird. I had never felt that before because it's tough. You have we have multiples. When you have just one, I had the one for the longest time. I did one for like 5-6 years. It was great. I just the one. But like my daughter has 3. She's like I always felt outnumbered.
Right.
The 3 of them. These were outnumbered. They were outnumbered.
That's a true statement. She is outnumbered.
Yeah, outnumbered. So I always laughed about that. So it's just kind of interesting to see you said that because that was true for me. It was like once I had a second daughter, it was like, oh, I have to find a way, and to this day, still find a way to make sure that they both feel loved, supported. Daddy loves them, but it's 2 different relationships. And then dealing with chicks. Sorry, Melissa. Dealing with chicks.
Don't be sorry. I know who I am.
Chicks are very different than dudes.
Oh,
and
yes.
I'm telling you, my relationship with my granddaughter, because I have 1 granddaughter and I have 5 grandsons. So it's a whole different thing. She's very different than the others. My daughter.
I feel sorry for your grandson.
Oh my God, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Hopefully they're more maternal and love your grandson and get excited when he comes, as opposed to the mean girls who just can't wait for the boy to come into the house so they can pick on him.
And that's usually what happens. My sister has that problem because she has 3 granddaughters and 1 grandson, and the girls are rough. They're rough.
Yeah,
love to death. They're rough. And so that's the whole thing with that. So I know for me, having 2 girls, and you're a girl dad too, Cesar. Girls are different. They're just they demand a different part of you.
Right.
Right, Cesar, it's a little different, isn't it?
Oh, I think so, for sure. There's definitely, and not only that, I think there's definitely a lot more. You got to be more attentive. There's more attention. There's like even I remember when my daughter was growing up. Like just dressing her up and things like that. It's like you gotta I got to do her ponytails. I got to do this. I got to do that, whatever, right? With a kid, just throw in some clothes and you're good to go. Let's go. Like it's fast. So with a boy, I mean. So yeah,
it's very different.
Definitely, it's a different dynamic for sure.
Very different. Yeah,
one thing that's kind of cool though, I always tell people that my daughter is the son that I never had because she's also not afraid of just doing stuff, right? Like she's not like a girly girl kind of thing. Like she'll still take care of herself, but she's okay getting down and doing things and like I remember, in the house, she used to help out a lot and just didn't mind doing that stuff, like things that normally maybe a guy will do or a boy. So I'm like, I would always tell her, like, you're the boy I never had. So, yeah.
Yeah, my daughters are tomboys. They're tomboys also. They're very they're manlier than I am. I say, what's kidding? Like, yes, I have a deep voice, but they're manlier than I am. I always say it all the time. They put things together. They play sports. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
My daughter played water polo in high school.
She had
her upper arms and I was like, dang. I'm like flabby daddy next to you. So it was very interesting. They're very much will kick ass and take names later, girls, which I love. That's exactly what I want them. And my granddaughter, same way, she'll kick ass, take names. I'm like, that's fine. I want my girls to be tough. Like my boy's a little sensitive. I don't know what that's like. I'm not sensitive. So I mean, these little boys, I don't know where they got that from. I'm not sensitive. I can be. Cesar, you're a little sensitive. You're a sensitive guy on some level.
I think I am. For the most part. I mean, now I am. I think I wasn't before, for sure. I think as I'm getting older, it's
it's softer.
Going down. So,
yeah. And I've got a little softer too. I was always ready to fight. Now I'm getting softer.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to fight as much. Even though I
don't like confrontation, or I try not to deal with any of that stuff or gossip or things like that. I'm like, it is what it is.
That's true too. But another day, Flo was like, "Oh my God, James, somebody was messing with him in his car," and I almost went over there to kick somebody. He's like, "I said I stand up for my friends. I stand up for my friends. I just stand up for my friends. I don't care. I'm ready to run my mouth. I have melon. I have melon. I'm ready to run my mouth. That's kind of funny. That's so funny. But yeah, so the whole DNA thing, that's this whole big thing about that. That's kind of interesting to find out what your markers are. What genetics are very interesting. What your kids and grandkids get from you, what you get from your parents. I'm turning into my parents. I can tell right now as it is, little by little. I can tell. I hear myself sometimes like, oh, that's my father. Oh, that's my mother. I can tell. I'm learning that more. I'm recognizing it more and more. I don't know about you guys, but I just as I get older, I'm saying things they've said. That's starting to like, okay, I'm at that age now. Okay, got it.
Well, I think what I'm doing is I'm triggering on, okay, so now I get where they're coming from.
Yep.
You know, so like you have, we age, we do more relate to parents because when they were 30, 40, 50, now we've been 30, 40, 50, we kind of get their perspective on things. But I would say I'm more like my dad than my mom.
Okay.
So, yeah. And my dad hasn't been, he passed away many years ago now. Right. So I kind of feel like the odd man out a little bit sometimes because the parent I'm more like isn't around. So I'm looking at my mom like, that's what dad must have been thinking. Because I'm thinking that.
That's so funny. Oh my God, that's so funny.
And my sister's way more like my mom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
My brother's more like my mom than they want to admit. They're very much. I think they're so much alike in many ways. And he's starting to admit it a little bit again. Turning 50, I think, has done a little number for him. So yeah. It's kind of
you get more honest, I think, because well, I don't know about you, James and Cesar. I don't know what age you are, and that's okay. I'm not outing you online, but as we age, we tend to just care less, and I call that being very forgiving, accepting you're human, but then it frees you at the same time.
True.
So I saying things that I'm like, did that just come out of my mouth?
Oh yeah, it did. Yes, it did.
Because I care less. I'm more about just being pragmatic and truthful and honest. I'm not hurtful, but sometimes I'll say something like, oh my God, I just had a girls' weekend. There were 6 of us.
Ooh.
From like youngest, Veronica is the youngest.
Yeah.
And then up to 68. So we were in our mid 40s to 68. And there's a whole range of colors and rainbows in that group.
Oh.
And there were like so many things that were said that were like, okay, cool, you be you. Because the older you get, the more you say.
Right.
I mean, it's tough because I have friends of all ages too. I mean, and I'm fully who I am. I fully acknowledge I am who I am. And things will come out of my mouth, and I'm like, okay, that was interesting, James. Okay. It's funny because Flobo and I will fight we always fight. We fight all the time. We just bicker all the time. But we always it never sticks. Like we're fine. Because I'll just say stuff. And Tony and I sometimes we'll have little things here to do, but he knows I'm older, so he treats me like an old person. It's like I'll just pretend you're my parents. Cesar and I are fine most of the time. It's not really going on. So I mean, but I have friends of all ages, which I like because it helps keep me a little youthful a little bit because I don't want to be this old person who thinks old. I'm trying to, but when I turn 40, that's when it changed. And I already know Cesar's story, so I know when he turned 40, same thing for you too. Like you get a certain age, you go, okay, I'm not a kid anymore.
Right.
Like, because you wrote a whole book. You wrote a whole book on that, Cesar. The first book was all about that.
Yeah.
So
I think as you get older, it's just you tend to not really. Yeah, again, you just do you, right? You don't, I think that if you start worrying about what are people gonna say or whatever the case may be, or what they're gonna think, you're doing yourself a disservice. I mean, you gotta just be you, and and again, I'm more mellow now. I mean, in my early 20s, I was, I had anger issues. I was, just really, I would really care about what people say, how they looked at me, whatever. Right now, it's like, it is what it is. Next kind of thing,
You know what I'm getting, Cesar?
Yeah.
That's what's starting to piss me off.
What?
People want to help me.
Oh,
You want to help me? Yeah.
I'm like, I know that I'm gray, but it's more of a fashion statement at this point in my life.
Yeah. That's funny.
I'm noticing that, Cesar, like in the grocery store. Well, can I help you with that? I'm like,
No.
no. I'm 5'5", but I'm the shorter 5'5".
Okay.
So sometimes I can't reach. When I was in my 30s, Cesar, nobody showed up to help me. I'm climbing literally to get the last box of the crackers. Now I'm like, just thinking about it. Somebody's there to help me.
Wow.
So, yeah. That's what's happening to me right now, Cesar.
Yeah. Oh man.
Can I help you out with your groceries?
Oh my God.
If I get that one more time.
And see, I take it.
In the face.
Bro, I'll take it. See, I'm Mr. Opportunist because I'm like, when am I 55? When am I 55? I want that discount. When am I 55? I'll take it.
Oh, that's right. You be waiting, for that.
I can't wait. I get a couple of years. I'll be 54. I can't wait. So it's funny because for me, because I have this goatee, it's all gray or whatever. I was just sir, all the time. I was like, I'll take sir. If it gives me a discount or something, I'll take sir. What are we gonna call me, sir? So yeah, I've got. So I don't you with the gray stuff. It's like I'm like, I'm not dying it or whatever. I'm just it's what it is. But I get the sir thing all the time now. Like my deep voice, so like sir, like yes,
yeah.
So I'll take it. I'll take it. Cesar, you know about being little and short.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the help. Let's do it.
He'll take the help.
Yeah.
What else funny is whenever I'm in the store, I get asked by people who are shorter, "Hi, can you help me get that?" Because I'm always telling people. Seriously, the grocery, I get absolutely. I mean, almost every time I go to the grocery store, someone will say, "Can you reach that ketchup for me?" I'm like, "Sure, I'll get it for you."
Yeah,
because I'm tall. Use me. I got long arms. Use me.
My stepson is 6'4", 6 would come home when he was living with us and would say, "Some little old lady asked me to get her crackers," and I'm like, "Careful, that might be me one day."
Yeah, exactly. Like, hello.
Yes.
In all seriousness, I was always in the medium range growing up. I grew up after high school. I was one of those folks who grew like 4 inches after high school. So, but ever since I got to 6 feet, I've lived my life as a tall person, apparently. I've never, until I got to organizing 13 years ago, that's when I realized, I have to make sure I organize cabinets to the size of the person, the height of the person.
Smart.
I never thought that before. I never even that part. It was more like my mind kept going with just all the ketchups go here and all that. But if they can't reach the ketchup, they live by themselves and don't have a step stool or whatever. Then it's like, so I had to learn what it's like to walk through. And my family's mostly tall. I have one daughter who's 5'1". I have a granddaughter who's 5'1". That's everybody else is 6. Even my sisters are 6 feet tall. We're all tall. So I've never. My mother's 5'10". Like we've never had to. Like my bathroom, when she renovated this back room, she got a 6-foot tub because she was tall. And I'm so glad because I can fit in the tub. I can lay all in the tub. I'm like, thank God you did that. But she's a tall person, so that made sense for her. She wanted a tub she could lay in. So I'm like, people who are shorter, I don't know. I have a guy on one of my shows that we work with. He does audio dramas with me. His name is Anthony. Anthony told me he's 5'1". I've never seen him in person because we only do Zoom. We only sit like this and do Zooms. He goes, "James, I'm 5'1". And he was telling me his whole story about being a shorter guy and how it gets on his nerves, but also he's had to learn how to live with it.
Yeah.
Find his own kind of feelings about that. And I go, I don't know what that feels like. I've always been tall. So I have no, whether it's man or woman, I've always been a tall person. The choices are easier for me. Like when you play stuff. So it's very interesting.
Yeah. We recently remodeled our bathroom and I purchased a new vanity. And it's a separate cabinet vanity. And thought it was really pretty. I love everything about it. So if they get it here, they put it in position. And I'm so excited to get to brush my teeth at the new vanity. So I belly up to it and I'm like, oh my God, it comes up so high.
Oh, dang.
So I said, the joke was, I think I need like one of those cute little flowery step stools that we used to have for our grandkids.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, I didn't realize how tall I didn't think about it, James. I didn't think about the height. I just went with, of course, oh, it's so pretty.
It's so pretty.
This, it's
Right,
that.
right.
And now I'm like on my tippy toes sometimes.
Wow.
So yeah, and so I've learned, and that was my big lesson of you have to pay attention how tall things are, because Les can do any height because he's 6'3".
Right.
Not-
Well, it's like because he does homes and stuff. I need a taller toilet. Now that I'm getting older, my toilet's too short for me.
The comfort size toilet, the tall.
Yes. My mother has one, and when I go to her house, I'm like, "Can I get the paper, please? I'll be in there for a while." I mean, it's just so comfortable. It's so comfortable because my knees don't hurt when I try to get up, things like that. So I'm learning that I'm looking into getting a taller toilet, but like I know you do homes and stuff. I know that's those stuff that we don't think about. The heights of sinks. I went to one place, the sink was so low. I was like, "Is that a kiddie sink?" I mean, like it was just so like way down. It's like we have to look at that sometimes. I guess, yeah. Right, Cesar?
No, yeah. I mean, definitely. I think that's if you look at the average, right? I mean, they're getting kind of like the average thing, but I think when you're in a place and you got to be very specific to your needs, and yeah, you're right. I mean, from the size of anything, right? For that matter.
What's considered an average height?
For what?
For a home, like you renovate homes. So what's considered average? Is it 5'6", 5'5"?
Yeah, I would say about 5'5", between 5'4" to 5'6", but 5'5". Right.
The perfect example of that is couches. So we have our living room couch. It's this ginormous leather couch sectional, and it sits up really tall, and it's got extra cushioning, whatever. My feet don't touch the ground when I sit.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's deeper too, right?
Yes.
So, and Les goes, "Oh, this is the perfect couch for me." And I'm like, "But honey, I can't touch my feet to the ground." So he has his couch, which we never use. And then the family couch is less deep. So it's more a traditional size couch that I can enjoy. But even couches.
Yeah.
You have to think about how deep your couch is.
Yes. My mother is the opposite because she's a bigger woman, and she's tall. So certain couches don't work for either.
Yeah.
You can't get up. Or it's just too low. We can't do too low. For us tall folks, it is a too low thing. That is one thing I'm noticing. Like I said, I noticed it on my toilet. I was just like, oh my God, my knees are cracking when I get up from the toilet. It's crazy. And I'm just like, and then so I'm like, yeah, I need a taller one. And when I went to my mother, she got hers like last year, and I was like, wow, this is like a whole new world. I love it. But you never think of that. Like I would never think of a taller toilet. Like I would never. A toilet's a toilet. I never thought there was a difference. I said, I'm supposed to be being left-handed. I'm worried about that stuff. I'm not even thinking about anything else. I'm thinking about how do drawers and things open for me. That's how I'm worried. I have a left-handed refrigerator. I have left-handed cabinet. I did all that stuff left-handed on purpose. And that to me I was more worried. My brother and I both are left-handed, so I kept thinking about that more so than height. I didn't even or size. And that's funny. We all have our things, right? So it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Look at that. I went to a left-handed kitchen. I was like, I want that. So I was like, because I felt so comfortable. I'm like, your left-handed things you reach for things differently and you grab things differently. So it's like, wow, this makes it so my refrigerator opens like a left-handed person. You'll come to my house like
you might be in a different stage now where you're gonna be renovating your house to accommodate for other things.
Yeah. So, we do our second bathroom over. My ceiling fan caught on fire last week, so I got a new ceiling fan.
Oh shoot!
Oh no!
During a show, I was sitting here like this, doing a live show. What's that smell? And all of a sudden, I heard the gears were grinding. And I saw sparks coming. I go, "Hi, everybody! I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to end the show. My thing's catching on fire, and I literally had to end the show." So now I've had an earthquake on camera, a shooting on camera. Yeah, it was all kinds of stuff live. So
I did not know you had a shooting on camera.
Oh yeah, I was doing a show and there was some shots fired right outside my house. They heard it. The fans heard it. They're like, "What's that?" I go, "I need to duck right now. Excuse me," and I ducked. Live on camera.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
it's crazy. You live in my neighborhood. You live in our neighborhood. You know how it is. I have a nice ceiling fan now. It's really nice.
Oh, very nice.
So it's very nice. I got it done, but it was catching on fire. So, but I'm going to do that. I want to kind of redo parts of my bathroom. I have some stuff I still want to do in the house, but it's expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Cesar. Are you seeing the cost here? Okay, here goes the homeowner question. Are you seeing the cost of like labor material starting to come down a little bit, like wood and concrete, or?
No, not so much right now. Yeah.
Yeah, because one of my girlfriends on our girl trip was like, "Oh, the cost of materials are coming down," and I'm in insurance, and so the insurance carriers are very, very careful on grading replacement cost, right? Because they're factoring cost of materials, labor, permitting, all of that. And I'm like, I'm not seeing that right now.
I'm not seeing it either.
I'm not seeing it.
So she's like, oh, the cost of everything's coming down. I'm like, okay, no.
No, probably no.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it either at all.
But I thought I'd ask an expert. So now
He's an expert. He's an expert. He does homes. And I admire that because I'm just like, there's things I do want to do around here a little bit. But I also want to do something for my yard because I don't think this drought's ever going to end. It seems like I don't think it's ever going to end. So I'm like, I want to do something with my ground. I mean, I want to do some either fake grass or something. I mean, you've seen my yard; it's huge, and but that's the problem. I have a huge yard.
You do.
It goes on for days. The square footage alone. I mean, it would just be for. I mean, if it was my mother has a small yard, so she got the St. Augustine grass or whatever, the fancy grass. And it wasn't expensive because she had a small spot. It was like small squares. As he knows, I have this huge. I mean, it's huge. It goes for a whole block basically. So I got to figure out what would be the cheapest. Because I think I missed that whole thing where in California they were giving credits out for if you want to do it.
Well, you might want to and you might have checked with Department of Water and Power, DWP. Because they do have every so often they have something going on.
Okay,
maybe just worth you checking to see because it's to their benefit, and they might even do something just because of that. But yeah, check with the DWP.
I wrote it down. I will check. See, that's how these conversations can happen. So we're coffee. It can happen. Because for a while they were advertising. I remember they were for you.
Yeah, I do actually.
Please go advertise and get your yards done for free or at some really crazy price. And I was like, I'm fine. I had grass still. I'm good. Whatever. Then the drought killed the rest of the grass, the little grass I had. And then I was going to seed. And then I said, well, actually, we're in a drought. Like I don't see it ending. And I don't
think it's going to end. It's always going to be there.
I don't think it's good. We had rain. Twice the past couple of weeks for a piece of a minute. Yeah,
I think I wasn't here, but I think I was told that there was rain here.
Oh yeah, so you weren't here. No, it did. No, it really rained hard one night.
Really?
It was pouring. I was so happy. I recorded it, put it on Snapchat or whatever. I was recording it. It rained. Yeah, you probably weren't here. It rained really, really hard one night. Where I was my garden next one was like, I was just breathing, and the flowers met me at the gates. They were so happy or whatever. Unicorns were leaping through the garden. It was great. And then we had one other, but there was one before that. We had rain for a minute, I think. And I think you were here a couple weeks ago, I think.
There was one time that it kind of just drizzle for a little bit, but it was like nothing, right? And I'm like, all right, next.
Hurricane, something come to LA. It never came to LA. I mean, I was waiting for a hurricane. I'm ready. No, it didn't come. But we had, and then last night we had some drizzle yesterday. It was not yesterday, the day before yesterday. There was drizzle on Saturday. It was like heavy drizzle.
Really?
I was in Bellflower, speaking of that. I was out there. So yes, it was heavy. I was in Hawaiian Gardens. I was like, where the fuck am I? I'm like, where are we? Hawaiian Gardens, Bill. I'm like, well, that's all that. I know where I was. I was being driven along, just driven.
Interesting. Yeah.
I know. I'm never over there.
Hawaiian Gardens. Huh?
I have no reason to go over there, you guys. She's out in the valley. She has no reason to go over there. She's out in the valley.
Yeah.
Would you ever go to Bellflower? You have no reason to go to Bellflower.
No, but it's a lovely city name. I always love the name Bellflower. Truly, I have.
Yeah.
Because I was in Monrovia for the first time, and Mike Scott's like, "Why do you call me?" I said, "I was with my sister, and we were just taking the train. The new train line from my house connects us to everything else." And we just happened to be in Azusa. I've never been to Azusa.
Mm.
Monrovia, Sierra Madre. I'm like Duarte. I'm like, where the fuck am I? I don't know where these places are.
Did you write down all the names as you were going down?
I was. I was like, where am I? Because I was doing video of the trip. And there's actually a giant Target right off the train, the Gold Line, at Sierra Madre, I think is what it's called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I went in there, and I bought too much. And I was like, I have to carry it on the train, put it in a car. It was just right there off the, no, Azusa, it was in Azusa. I took pictures. It was in Azusa. And it's just right there. You just walk just off the train, and there's this giant Target. Like, I've never been, like, I don't even know what this is. Like, Azusa? Like, what does that even mean?
I used to go there a lot before because my brother, when he came back from, so he was living in Minnesota. That's where he went when he got the scholarship for high school. And he stayed there for a little bit. Then he went to Florida. Then he went to New York. And after New York, he came back over here to this side of the States. And he was living in Monrovia. So I used to go there a lot. Azusa and Monrovia. So I used to go there a lot. And I hated that drive because, in traffic time, it could be very long.
You saw the traffic because the train was going by it.
Yeah. Well, right, exactly. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, and then he moved further down to after Monrovia, he moved down to somewhere by Montclair. I forget exactly where, but he moved even further down, and that was a drive. I'm like, man, like why can you not come over here? Kind of thing.
Right. I don't know it. I'm like, those cities. It was all new to me. It was like once you passed Pasadena, I was like, where are we? And then we started getting to places I'm like, names I've heard of. So many names I've heard of. I just never had any reason to go out there. Duarte, nobody out there. Nobody out there. Yeah. Urbandale or whatever, Fillmore. I'm like, I have no reason to go out there for anything. But Monrovia, our friend Mike Scott lives there.
Yeah.
And he was like, come see me and the twins. I said, I'll come out next time and I'll come see you. But I said, we just happened to be out. I didn't know where I was. Just happened to be out there on the train.
How long was the train ride from your house to there?
So here's what's funny. It goes by because Xander and Rick were with me. Were like, it goes by so fast because they're used to driving everywhere. So the train to your area, because my train goes to where he lives. It's literally like 7 minutes. Like you literally.
It's fast.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden you're at Slauson, and all of a sudden you're at King, like you're there. So 7 minutes by him. Then we took it. Then a train came within 5 minutes. Took us to downtown LA. That took like maybe 10, 15 minutes. And then we switched over to the other train that took us to Union Square. And that took like 5 minutes. Well, even less than that. So we're talking at this point, we're at like maybe 20, 25 minutes. That's just from my house downtown LA, 25 minutes. Easy. None around parking, nothing. They took the Gold Line, and that only took like maybe 15 minutes to get out to Duarte.
Wow.
It goes fast. It just stops here, goes fast, stops here. They're not like super popular stops anyway. They weren't crowded or anything. And we're passing with the 210 or wherever that was. We were just passing. It was just traffic wall to wall. We're passing it. Like, hi, bye, losers. We're going over here. Bye.
That loser was me, by the way.
There's Melissa. I see her. Bye, loser. See you later. We're going to.
Yeah. Because we were in Lake Arrowhead, so we took the 210.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
So
that was me.
That was you. Sorry, loser. It's you. Yeah, no. But it's just funny that it didn't take. It took us maybe 40 minutes, 45 minutes total on the train. That's not a lot of time. I mean, it really isn't. You don't have to drive. We're about parking, none of that stuff.
No. How far is your station to your house?
So 2 blocks.
Is it?
It's changed my life, Cesar. I just walked 2 blocks down. I walked down the alley. So, folks, right over here to my right is the alley. I get out of my house. I walk down the alley. Turn it on.
I know which one it is now. Yeah.
And turn on to West Boulevard, 68 to West Boulevard. Then right there, it's right there. And they're building they tore down that whole other side of the street. The Chucos and all that's all gone. So they're building a giant parking structure.
Nice.
But at the state, what we do is we take the car there. Park is $3 all day, which is a great price for parking. In Los Angeles.
Yeah.
All day. And right now they have police people. It's very safe right now. I don't know how long it's going to be going to do that. But then he just literally, because we ran to Cesar. It was so funny. The second day the train opened, I'm taking like my little family. We're like, come on, let's go on the train. then I hear my sister goes, "It's Cesar Espino." I go, "What?" And then we saw Cesar with his parents.
Yeah, I was taking my parents on a ride too.
Oh.
We totally ran into each other. It was so funny running into each other on the train. We were just literally like you were doing. We were just riding the train places, riding it around to show them. But yeah, just 2 blocks away. Like literally, I just take 2 blocks. I took it to downtown LA the other day because I had a client. And normally I take an Uber or something, which costs like $15, $20, $25. Literally, for $1.75, I rode all the way down to LA. It was like a $5 ride up the hill in a car, and that's it. I saved all this money. Saved all this money.
Yeah.
It was like, so the K line, they call it, has changed my life.
Oh, yeah. And I cannot wait for them to, and it seems like it's going to be another year from what I understand, maybe 2 years, for them to finalize the connection from the last station to LAX. Like, I'm really looking forward to that. Now, you can do it now. It's just more complicated where you get off on the very last station. Then you take this free shuttle, which actually is not a shuttle, it's a bus, but it's a free shuttle from them. And then they'll take you to somewhere in LAX where you now take the airport shuttle, right? And it'll drop you off. So I actually want to do that because I'm traveling on Thursday.
Okay.
And so I might, between now and Wednesday, I might just kind of do that just to see how long the time is. Yeah, and if it's not too long of a time, then I might just do that or still do an Uber, right? But I'm waiting for that because, to travel will be pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're waiting. They're trying to finish the people movers at LAX, all that. They're building.
Yeah.
I don't know last time you were to LAX. They're building a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That whole area is totally different now. Arvida, Airport Boulevard.
Everything's
it's all different now. It's all different. And the stations are ready. The stations are there, just closed. They're there. They're ready to connect to the Green Line, which is on the 105, which for me will also change my life. My mother's off the Green Line. So if I can take it from just my house to her house, that saves me something too. So, but I heard a year. I don't know. I heard a year.
Yeah, that's kind of what they were saying. So I'm like, can you hurry up and make it faster?
Well, the thing is, major cities should have transportation to the airports.
Absolutely.
That's so weird. LA didn't have it. San Francisco was saying it didn't have it either until a few years ago. They didn't have anything that went straight to the airport.
True.
It was always near it. But they take a bus. Like we need to have something that you have all this luggage, just take us right there. With the people movers, they'll take you right into the. It's going to be because last time I went to the airport 2 months ago, it took us 40 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
From the entrance on Sepulveda and Century to Terminal 4. I was trying to fly to Delta or whatever. And it was like, it took 45 minutes to get there.
It's bad.
That's why I fly out of Burbank whenever possible.
That makes sense. She's out in the valley, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it's close by, yeah.
And it's better. It's also less crowded. It's like Long Beach. They're less crowded.
Yes.
They're easier. But I live by LAX, so for me, it's just easier.
Yeah.
Seemingly easier to go over there. But I'm waiting for the people. It'll be so much better. Much better. So I am James.
And I'm Melissa.
And this is Cesar Espino, who is our guest for a conversation today. You have to come back. So Cesar, tell folks, it's your chance to actually promote yourself and tell them where fine folks can find your goodness.
Yeah, you can actually find me anywhere in social media or just go to my website, Cesar, CESAR, Espino.com.
Start there. Also, he and I have 3 books together. We have 4 books together, actually.
4 books.
It's a book series, but we have 3 books together. You have them with you? You're going to show it? I think you're going to show it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm bad. I don't have mine with me.
Right here.
There's our books. We talk about being entrepreneurs. So check out our books. They're actually really good. We tell you the honest truth. I'm thinking I may want to write another one, Cesar. I'm like about surviving a crazy pandemic.
Yeah.
As entrepreneurs. I'm like, it's just, ugh. Then he has a book series called How You Can Overcome Anything. I'm in that first book. That's me in the corner. There and I'm up there and it's me, but we have 8 or 9 of those now.
That series I have, I'm working on my 8th book, which should come out in another 2 weeks or so, maybe 3 weeks.
And they're all international bestsellers, so you have to check those out. Also, and then he also does stuff with me on a show called Amore, which we are recording season 2 tonight. Yes. That's an audio drama people are checking out. Check that out. He plays Amore, the lead character. So come check that out. He's always in trouble. Poor Amore, always in trouble.
Of course he is.
He's a good guy. He's always getting in trouble. But the series I have on all audio streaming platforms, check that out. Melissa, we ever actually do this? Promote your business. Tell you something about your business. Don't say your business.
I am a property and casualty insurance agent. I've been at this over 30 years. I love my business. I love helping people, and I like planning risk management to protect people's assets. That's what I do.
Nice.
So Phillips and Associates.
Philip
Right?
and Associates Insurance Services, James.
Yeah, thank you.
We're in Chatsworth.
I want you to say it. Thank you very much. So yes, you guys said so. Check her out too if you need some help. So we are all here. We're all here to serve. We're all here of service. So I would say we're all here of service. That's what I would say. We're all here of service. And of course, I'm James Lott Jr. You can find me. We're all James Lott Jr.'s are sold at James Lott Jr. All social media platforms. Lottahelp.com. That's 2 T's and Lot. We will see you next time with more coffee and conversations.
Nice.